soaked to the skin.
Those boots would embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Hey, Cal, I think that was
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir, no, sir.
Those boots would embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir, no, sir.
Come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
Attention!
She bit me in the face.
About face!
Right,
Cool about it! Not!
Cruel fortune.
Thank the seven, we've secured the perimeter.
Show all of them. Side seal, what do
You there! Sit! Stay a while. Right in front. Oh, don't pity me. No, sir. Just a few years ago, I was the when Reginald came. He brought some fantastic prop with him. It seems even my youth, and even when there's no crowd to speak of, old Reggie still has at least one fan. I don't know how he inspires such loyalty with less talent contained between his hat and his boots.
Performers, showmen, show all of them. Side seal, what you're made of. Apart from beer and flatulence.
Fantastic! Zombie ate your dog? Orc sunk your ship? No matter! You're at Katerina's Fair, a veritable summer home for troubled minds. Won't you take a seat? Well, I'm Katerina the Fair. Fairest I've an open stage in want of talent, and I've often found the best young performers among the rank and file of the audience. The theatre's favor has overcome you, has it? Marvelous! I do so love a fresh green talent ready to bloom. But I support players, not writers. Check the library and see if any of the classics there interest you. I'd love to see a Source Hunters take on one of the old standards. Right away, my dear, just as fast as your boots can carry you. Speak to Master Chaucer if you're ready for your debut. He alone can adequately prepare you for the stage.
Good stuff. And see the amazing singing, Stefan!
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next show. Autographs will have to wait until the end. I doubt I have to tell you that I am the amazing singing Stefan, the only sentient severed head in Sicile. My audience sings my praises from hill and dale. Psst. You're a Source Hunter, aren't you? Oh, bless the seven. Pleasure to meet you. Now, please, Stefan has many fans to meet today. Psst, help me. Take me to Reginald's cellar. There I will reveal everything.
Well, hello there.
Aaron has as many friends as the man. This here is the greatest illusion in Andoril.
Fantastic!
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Potions, dearest customer. I've never seen an aura so plagued by ether. Thank Astarte, I've just the earth scroll to ground you.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Gorman there.
tomatoes. Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Lay the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff. Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Good day to you.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Fresh haddock. Nothing for fire.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies size seals ever seen.
Dearest customer, I've never seen an aura so plagued by ether. Thank Astarte, I've just the earth scroll to ground you.
You can choose the finest greens.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
I'm straight. I'm true. Aaron's by the dozen. Heavenly herring, delicious dogfish. Yours for a scrap gold each.
Drink and gamble.
The undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
If you think black sheep...
himself that the king had a great thirst for colour. So ardently did he crave creamy blues and gory reds that he ordered a contest across his realm. Today, I think,
Slimy, reeking, rotting seagull.
It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, it is said to have
My, what a strong and handsome officer you are, kind Septimus. You must have fought many a battle, am I right? In fact, I bet you're a real war hero.
Oh, I'm no hero, as well. I'm just doing my duty.
Lords above, grant me patience. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Here because you think I killed my husband. How many times do I need to state and restate my complete innocence in the matter? Like I told just about every legionnaire in town, I don't know anything about poor Jake's murder. I want his killer found and tried, but everyone suspects me of this evil deed. And you're no different, are you? So what happened? Some of them tittle-tattling crab chasers down the pub call me a murderous gold digger and you believe them? These insinuations truly... I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor. But his one and only princess just the same. Starstone? I've never heard of such a thing. Dear Jake had a mineral collection, yes. As far as I knew, it was one of his pastimes, nothing more. Do you mean to imply he collected something dangerous? Something that may have gotten him into trouble? Oh, this is all too much. I feel like I'm drifting from... Well, what do you want to know? Can you tell this is the most ancient city in Andervale? That pagan statue jutting out from the harbour is thousands of years old, in fact. If an orcish cannon damages any of the ancient structures... Sometimes I forget they're even out there, to be honest. Remember above all to stay behind the wall, we tell our children. And when you've been heeding your own advice for seasons on end, you almost start to forget what the fuss was about in the first place. Better not to.
Quite adamant about her innocence. I'll need to look for evidence if I want to prove she did it.
They call the undead a problem, my friend. But those who know the ways of the fabulous fives...
So you're just hanging around again, are you? Waiting for what, exactly?
Oh, heavenly herring! Delicious dogfish! Yours for a scrappy old...
So fair a lady I have seldom seen in all of Riverland, my friend. And I have traveled more extensively than migratory birds do. She stands accused of murder. But in my mind, her presumed guilt is a fallacy, and indeed a fabrication.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Steadfast will I guard her. Never will I waver unless absolute proof of her culpability should be brought before me. And I hold no such proof exists. Jake's murder is, in a word, a tragedy. He was well loved in all of Sicile. The Council of Seven couldn't have wished for a better ambassador. That he of all people should have braved the undead siege for so long, only to be felled by foul sorcery. And what? We've been stationed... I remember waking up with a head full of hammers 2 years ago. The drill sergeant barking away, "Up you get, lads." I am Septimus, 7th son in a household of 9. Lead...
My, what a strong and handsome officer you are.
Greetings, Source Hunter. I don't mean to hinder your investigation, but I can't open this door for anyone who hasn't...
Oh, my good man. Drink, if you please.
What? Oh, it's you. Come closer, then. Closer, huh? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you. My elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Sicile, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Sicile. What? Oh, you mean Sicile. Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jake, and by source magic no less, weren't enough. We're also facing all sorts of brutish intruders. The undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of that's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or some... And, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought. A weapon called the Staff of... What now? Oh, you're speaking gibberish. Ah, you mean the Staff of Pergamon. Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful, very rare staff. I managed to place the... Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong... His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Sicil harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead.
Red and orange, yellow and green.
Jake, murdered? Oh, yes. Yes, now I recall. Indeed. I could hardly believe it myself. The Council and I have certainly had our differences over the years, but old squabbles evaporate under such circumstances. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective custody to keep her safe from the mob. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit suggestive. But I've never had cause to suspect her of violence. Still, one never knows. An all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Sicil is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor. No, all my clothes are in fine condition, thanks. I've been going to the same tailor for years. That depends. What kind of berries? Ah, the library. Yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Sicil. Would you like to have a look? I'll escort... Marvelous! Follow me then. What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Sicil's crown. The beacon of culture and learning. And my Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine. And she's got Yes. Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. What? Oh, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now. Please introduce yourself.
Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh.
In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Getahal. Be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine. I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you'll think. When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker bar. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc, after all. But praise be Amun-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way.
No, this isn't the grimoire.
He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too.
Kid Demonum. The first edition too. Most promising.
Volume 1, Volume 2. But where has the third one gone?
Shatsu.
Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the neck.
This isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum.
The
first
seven
edition
grant
too.
abundance!
Most promising.
Now, where is my kappa? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah,
No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for.
Princess Buttercup with the
The
blushing
Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by
Esmeralda
heart.
does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. Is there no...
That's enough of that now!
My kappa. Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, there it is.
Get it while it's fresh. This batch is only hours full of tea.
What are ye staring at? Some poor chaps lost their ship and want some work? Just send 'em to me and tell 'em there's a bit of coin and a lot of rum coming their way if they don't mind a bit of honest labour. Captain Jack's the name, though the title may be a little generous. Those scallywags are the...
Sheep's cheese, tomatoes. Oh, hello, love. Nice day for...
Any takers? Come on, you chickens!
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Well, hello there.
Soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have got you far. To what do I owe the repeated pleasure, Source Hunter?
Any takers? Come on, you chickens!
Well, she certainly possesses a great... I expect she'll be a very successful healer in her own right.
This batch is only hours full of tea.
Don't talk to me. You're making me lose focus. Can't you see I'm busy modeling? Obviously, someone's plumage is as magnificent as all those naysayers in the past. Bah! See what I've become. Hundreds of years from now, people will wonder.
So there's a captain offering booze and brass for a bit of crate loading. Gods be praised. You've done it, friend. Off we go.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves him.
I wouldn't let all within 500 yards of my lovely nature.
Cruel fortune. 1 coin or 2, noble spirit? 1 coin or 2? Thank you, kind one.
What's the status, soldier?
I swear I can hear that bleeding cheese merchant from...
You think that's funny, Private?
Any real damage? Are you joking?
Come on, Mr. Dramatic. It's not bad as all that.
What have we here, then? A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Sicil, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs, you hear? Gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother. He just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you! Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay alone, perhaps? That certainly would explain some of the cock-ups you lot have made in the past. What? You're going to stand there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. If you must.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
You return marks of victory, Hunter. We'll vanquish our foes yet.
Stop right there. Until you've received not exactly the friendliest bloke, the captain, is he? Well, your reward for getting your ear chewed off.
A good day to you.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Fresh haddock. Perfect for a fry-up.
Dancing dugongs, you nearly startled me out of my boots. Well, you've got my attention, comrade.
Looking good.
Careful, comrade. I think I sense a sorcerer in yonder shadows.
Looking good.
Greetings, Source Hunter. I don't mean to hinder your investment.
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that...
What have we here? A source hunter, is it? Well, my day just became rather more stupid. Tall as an elf, strong as an orc, but your face... quite classic. And my word, what passion burns from your eyes. Please forgive my being forward, but I dare say that I have. For nearly a lifetime, it seems. Well, I'm sure you must know what I mean. Like existence itself lacked a significant component. Like if you could only fill a certain void, could connect with the right body, the right spirit. Together you could uncover new and thrilling vistas. I believe I have found that component, that body, that spirit within you, Source Hunter. Come, if ever we are to be united. Yes, you must join the Fabulous Five right away, as soon as time permits. Together, as a team, we'll explore the boundless realm before us. We'll uncover fate, inch by inch. Yes, I am part of that band of valiant heroes, and ever there must I remain. But you, my match, my soul's twin, may tie our fates together by similarly fighting under the banner of the Fabulous Five. You must speak with Mendius. He stands right outside this very tavern, and he alone can bring you into our illustrious fold. Then, my equal...
Sorry, I've run out of signed handkerchiefs. An Alistair keyring, maybe. In any case, make it quick. You're not the only fan who wants some of my time. What do you mean, not familiar? You expect me to believe you've never heard of Alistair the Almighty? Why, I'm only the most famous wizard this side of the distance. Although, it'd be worth... And don't forget, I'm the most eminent member of the Fabulous Five to boot. Surely you already know we've been voted the most influential adventurers guild by Side Quest Monthly. 3 years running. Your interest is piqued, I see. I'd suggest you have a chat with Mendius outside. A word of warning, though, we only accept the best and the brightest. By the looks of you, I'm not...
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Ah, hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for information I don't have. Like our noble Captain Yes, she and I have a history. That's hardly a secret anymore. I quite doubt it was even a secret from Jake. As easy as it would be to pin suspicions on Esmeralda or I assure you that the affair was never so steamy and sordid as the busybodies around town. Jake and Esmeralda had no great affection for each other. He had his interests, she had hers, and there was little... It's very tragic news. I won't posture and say that the Counselor and I were anything near allies, but I truly never wished the man harm.
Look, careful now. Your head's growing more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
Even so, my friend, matters of a pecuniary nature aside, what is life without variety, without spice? To be a source hunter must get frightfully dreary sometimes. Am I right? All those
There is no shame in following directives if your masters are worthy of your trust.
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
True enough. We serve a just cause, so why wouldn't we follow our orders?
Come now. I refuse to believe such a uniquely skilled individual would settle for a puppet's role. Life's too short to spend it doing someone else's bidding. Am I right? And that is exactly why I am here. Why fate has put me right by the door to the King Crab, so that I could meet you and tell you about the marvel that is the Fabulous Five. Ah, the Fabulous Five. How I enjoy simply saying the words that describe the most illustrious and celebrated adventurers' guild in Riverlong. You'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course you would. And you can. Of course, if you still have questions, What a gem of a question. Straight... Now then, to join the Fabulous Five is to join a fellowship, to join a fraternity, a sorority, a community. The title of Knight is bestowed upon you the moment you sign our waiver, and so it all begins. Of course, should you spread the word, should you propagate the gospel of the Fabulous Five and thereby draw new knights into our fellowship, by now, the genial glow of the fellowship must have warmed your heart. It has, hasn't it? But did I say fellowship? I mean work hard. Fulfill contracts. Enlist new knights and switch...
Well, I've stumbled into quite the fine gig. I just let my appreciation for Reggie's work be known, and he slips me a few gold coins in return. My voice happens to carry pretty far. Cecile hears me. Cecile wants to see what the fuss is all about. And let me... Well, drawing a crowd's what I do best, and I'd be glad to do it for your little show. 100 gold up front, and yours will be the hottest ticket in Cecile. You're lost, buddy. You know where to find me if you change your mind.
Today, I think that's King, the great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who will elder who
My
knew
word!
everything
Just
who is
waiting
said to
for
have
his
known
big
Sigurd
debut.
himself.
My word!
And who are you supposed to be? Katarina's given the go-ahead, has she? Oh, very well, then. Tell me when you're ready to begin, and I'll show you to your places and gather you whatever crowd of drunken yokels can be prevailed upon to watch you flail about on stage. Don't you have an impressive life? Come on! Come on! Can't you hear the stage calling you? You there! You look like an actor just waiting for his big debut. What is it this time?
Have some pity. Can you spare a coin?
Performers, showmen, show all of them. Sicil, what you're made of. Apart from beer and flatulence. Come on! Come on! What is it this time?
It is said, and this I have
My
heard from a
word!
ghost who knew...
Katarina's given the... Tell me when you're ready to begin, and I'll show you... Ready for your trial by fire, you mean? Wouldn't we all? But unlike a true thespian, you haven't a scrap of material to work with. Ready for your trial by fire, you mean? Wouldn't we all? But unlike a true thespian, you... What is it this time? Katarina's, tell me when you're ready to begin. Ready for your trial by... Not planning on playing to an empty audience, are you? Wait until I've gathered some victims to witness the spectacle, and then you can begin.
You hear distant mutterings of curiosity as a small crowd shuffles toward your stage. A few moments longer, and everyone will be seated. Now, let's not be hasty. They may be dragging their feet, but your show is sure to knock the crowd's socks off. As soon... Now, let's not be hasty.
Today, I think...
This show is worth the hype.
What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going. Well, drawing a crowd's what I do best. And I'm 98, 19.
Sigurd himself.
Bravo! Yeehaw!
What is it this time? Oh, here we go again. Try not to embarrass yourself too Oh, here we go again. Try not to embarrass yourself too terribly, please. Oh, here. Not planning on playing to an empty audience, are you? Wait until I've gathered some...
You hear distant mutterings of curiosity as a small crowd shuffle. Now, let's not be hasty. They may be dragging their feet, but your show is sure to knock the crowd's socks off. As soon as they settle into their seats, that is. Now, let's not be hasty. They may be dragging their feet, but your show is sure to knock the crowd's socks off. As soon as they settle into their seats, that is.
If I wanted to wait around doing
The
nothing...
stage is yours.
When did you say this was supposed to start again?
Oh, come on, we haven't got all day. Simply marvelous.
The audience sneers. Perhaps this isn't how they're used to the story going.
Fantastic!
Simply marvelous!
Bravo!
The crowd is thrilled. Whatever will happen next is sure to excite them.
Simply
The
marvelous!
crowd seem quite impressed with your delivery. Keep it up.
Bravo!
Fantastic!
The crowd gasps. They're on the edge of their seats. Go on. Push them over. Gasps ring out across the audience. They must know how it ends. They simply must.
Simply
The crowd explodes into applause and appreciation. You've woven them.
Really something else. I'll never forget it.
I haven't seen a show like that in years. Oh, I'm all a those who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a do, re, mi, fa, sol. It won't be the worst indignation.
Tints and dugongs, you nearly startled me out of my boots. Well, you've got my attention, comrade.
Seen a show like that in years. I'm all a quiver.
See the big trees on your book with a wheel of the good stuff.
He couldn't have sprouted legs and wandered off.
Performers, showmen, show on, sightseer, what you're made of.
Cedric show is a doozy. Woo!
Who wants to point anymore?
Ah, a little privacy at last. Out of earshot of that contemptible jester, we can finally speak freely. Where shall we begin? That charlatan doesn't have a lick of his own talent, so he begs, borrows and beats it from those of us with a real vision for the stage. What I wouldn't give to give old Reggie a swift kick in the jugglers. Oh, to have legs again. My true name is Nick. In life, I was an entertainer aboard the ship of the famed Pontius Pirate. I once dared to defy him and he savagely beheaded me for the attempt. Little did I know the abuse was only beginning. A wandering sorcerer, mad as the day is long, found my severed head on the beach and resurrected me. I spent months in his company. When I asked him to return my head to my body, it must be in the Black Cove still, he became enraged and tossed my head. Reginald stumbled upon me some days later and consigned me into his horrid little show. I know not how long I've been entertaining slack-jawed imbeciles at the Sightseer. More than anything. But the chances are so slim with the Black Cove utterly infested with Pontius's undead cronies. My poor lost body is among them, sightless and silent in their vile company. For all I know, they're using it as a coat rack. Traveller, if there were any way you would brave the cove's depths and reunite me with myself, you'd be doing me the only kindness I'd have received in as long as my poor memory served. It won't be the worst indignation.
Tiger's beard, what a find!
Everything we do seems to fortify your abilities.
I suppose your example has inspired me to reach heights I never before envisioned.
That inspiration hardly flows one way, my friend.
Nothing but rubbish!
Stefan, I will never forget you.
I know it's here somewhere.
It's all over. Stefan, I will never forget you. Stefan, I will never forget you. Who wants to point anymore? It's all over.
Ask away, my friend, ask away. Always helps to more than I'd hoped, comrade. I don't know what in tarnation's gotten into the townsfolk here, but there's enough dark magic running roughshod. There's Mayor Cecil's doings, for one, and the mysteries of our master Thalron, for another. And on top of it all, the feline menace is lurking at every hearth and shadow.
I will never forget you.
Well, hello there. Praise be that Ahu the wizard built those newfangled weapons of his. Scythiel would have...
Livestock's got twice the sense and thrice the source hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd. Yes. Oh, Ogget's been missing for more than a fortnight. I love that sheep, you know.
Was planning to cook her into a fine midwinter night haggis myself. Do tell me if you hear anything about her. I plan on pursuing whoever stole her with my cleaver in hand.
Well, what sort of arrows do you want? Freezing? Silver? Poison? Get to the point.
Cruel fortune. Oh, but don't you worry. You legionnaires are highly trained.
Be close. That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Have some pity. Come on. Can't you hear the stage calling you?
What sort of arrows do you want? Freezing? Silver? Poison? Get to the point.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
What's this? I found something.
Tits and dugongs, you nearly startled me out of my boots.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Oh, no, noble friend. Your upper chakras are in desperate need of a good scrubbing. Fortunately for you, my homebrewed tinctures will do the job. Or if you're in the mood for something a bit more electrifying, one of my air scrolls might give your system just the shock it needs.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
No better solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows.
Potions to bemuscle you, scrolls to entussle you.
Soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far.
Tits and dugongs, you nearly startled.
I give milk. I give...
I feel cold inside my soul.
Sightseeing isn't so bad on a quiet day like this, is it?
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
The Duke of Ferrol is the worst poet in Riverland.
In his defense, not much rhymes with murder.
Fortune? Ah, ease of his...
Greetings, traveller. And may the Immaculate Conduit's myriad... You mean you haven't heard? Oh, steel yourself, friend. For your mortals, by following her instructions and becoming initiated into the... She came from on high to we mortals and showed us the path to the goddess, where all living souls are naturally inclined. She showed us that injury and malice go on the path.
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward...
Feeling hot under the collar?
Scrolls to intussle you! Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, yeah.
Ah, the sun is out. And yet, I feel a cold inside my soul. The bane of age, the crux of
Where
years.
is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, yeah.
Oh, the coast reminds me of my long journey. I sailed the sea. I walked the worlds.
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the dock. Sad story, that. Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all doesn't make much of an impression on an undertaker. Especially not these days, with so many laid low. But I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest. What about it? Didn't I just say we gave it a respectable send-off? Why are you giving me the 3rd degree? So, what's the bad news? More orcs? Sad story, that. I just concern myself with... What about it?
I sailed the seas. I walked the worlds.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's End?
The sun is out, and yet I feel a cold inside my soul.
Here lies Neil, killed in the line of duty. I want to go home. Judith, warrior princess.
May the seven keep
Here lies Gregory, whose wife told
So
him so.
many dead civilians. It's an honor to visit the fallen.
Hey, wow! I was wondering where that awesome sweaty boot smell was coming from. And here you are. Wow! This is great! I'm Murphy, Jake's dog. Wow, you smell great! Have you been rolling around on dead things all day? That's my favourite hobby too. If I ever find out who killed Jake, the most awesome Jake who ever jaked, I'll bark so much! Seriously, so much! You have no idea! You know who I miss? Jake. Sometimes he'd just sit there being awesome, and I'd give him this look like, you smell great. And he'd give me this look like, you do too, Murphy. And he was my best friend. I came here so I could smell Jake again. He smelled great. But whatever's buried there...
Here lies David, who ran from the Reaper. You'll never
Peace be
catch
with
him.
you, traveller. May your lost loved ones rest in... I once lived a prosperous life with my husband and our happy little dog. Loney never recovered from the loss. And when a group of mercenaries, predators, more aptly called, came to town dangling the opportunity to annihilate those undead devils, Loney lapped up their rhetoric and joined with... She were killed less than a week after she joined. Here she lies. May the seven keep you.
Jake, where are you?
Here lies
Are you
Jake.
here, Jake?
Please do not
Jake?
disturb.
Rest in peace, darling.
What trickery is this? That's not Jake.
It's a rotting sheep's corpse. It seems someone snatched Jake's body.
Where are you, Jake? Are you playing without me?
Rest in
Here
peace,
lies
darling.
Jake. Please do not disturb.
That shovel has proven worth its weight, it seems.
Where are you, Jake? Are you playing without me?
Indeed. And who knows what manner of riches we'll unearth together with this tried and true treasure digger.
May the seven keep you.
Enough to finish this mission with a long vacation in the
Ready to advance, ready to defend. What can I do for you, comrade?
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes. Sauce hunters, eh? All right. If you've got a favourite sheep, best of... Oh, Oggett, you're rotten to the bone. Oh, me poor, sweet, plump girl. You've been wasted entirely. All that roast, all the mutton. I recently sold most of the tender loves to a trader heading north. Plenty of business that way these days. Those miners must be preparing for... I could have had a new lamb by now if that Bruce had taken to a woolly lass instead of that heifer.
Lonesome? Spiritless? Perhaps wrestling an earth elemental will inject some vim into your routine?
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal... A sheep? That's a whole heap of nonsense. Don't bother me with... I suppose you're right. At least if I tell you myself, you'll hear the proper account of things. I buried that blasted sheep, but I swear on my lucky left foot I had nothing to do with that body disappearing. 1 minute it was on my slab, you see. I left the room for just a moment to answer the bell in the front parlour, and when I returned, the body was simply gone. In its place was a sack containing more gold coins than I could even count. The message was clear. Silence is golden. My business has been declining right alongside the rest of our blighted city. And that sack of gold was worth more than I made during one of the good years. I needed cash, and someone needed my silence. I knew I had to bury something or risk being found out. So that night, I stole into the market and made off with Bertia's fattest sheep. It was a bloody waste to stick so much fine meat into the ground to rot, but it had to be done. The next day, the pallbearers retrieved Jake's coffin, sealed to hide the body's terrible wounds, none the wiser that within the casket lay nothing more venerable than a slaughtered beast. Now, you can imagine I've spent more than my share of restless nights wondering who could have wanted that cadaver and for what purpose. I'm not an inch closer to imagining the why, but I've got a few inklings as to the who. Near as I can reckon, there are only 4 people who could have been involved. Mayor Cecil, Captain Aureus, Theleron's apprentice Evelyn, and Esmeralda. Plenty of us shopkeepers entrust the mayor with the spare keys to our businesses, you know. And he's the only person in town with a second copy of the key to the mortuary. He could have used it to sidle in without a peep, if he were so inclined. Aureus himself paid me a visit the night the body was delivered. Came rapping at my door in the frosty morning before the sun had even started peeping, and told me to tell him, and only him, if I noticed anything strange or suspicious about the remains. Can't see why he'd bothered to go through all that trouble, unless he knew something the rest of us don't. I know it sounds strange suspecting the doctor's apprentice of something so ghoulish as this, but there's few in this city could manage to transport a corpse without... It was she who delivered Jake's body from the inn to the mortuary. And there was something about her that night. Seemed she could barely contain her thoughts, that there was something thrilling about to happen. I can't quite settle it in my mind how a young medical professional would have such a strange reaction to an occasion. And this may or may not have anything to do with the whole rigmarole. But her master, Dr. Theleron, bought an old shack of mine, one overtaken by undead, for an exorbitant price considering what he was getting. I never did figure what he wanted it for, but he sure seemed... I never saw a widow less distraught at the death of her husband, and I've seen hundreds pass through my parlor. It was she who rang my bell just before the body was snatched, lured me outside claiming she needed air, before discussing the funeral arrangements. Some accomplice could have sneaked in and grabbed the remains while I was comforting the oh-so-overcome Esmeralda. That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it. That old bag's as fat as a heifer. She won't miss that sheep for a moment, and she sure as hell won't starve over it. So, what's the bad news? More orcs? Ask 1,000 times if you like. I'd rather risk a flight to the... Like I said, I'm sure as sin not the ghoul responsible for snatching that body. Far as I can...
Like this, is it?
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
More holes than a slice of this pie, all the better.
Toe of snake, wing of worm.
Chicken, chicken, chicken!
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Ah, come on with the truth.
Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Easy, Tull. That's the source hunter you're talking to.
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along. I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
Bit Tull you right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the...
Sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Perhaps it'll be worth taking this stranger under our wing. She'll likely come in handy if we can trust her to watch.
After all, a fearless hunt.
Well, that's a relief, ain't it? We found a good home for her after all, Tull.
Again!
Heed me, Source Hunter. She's not good for anything more than cannon fodder. And don't turn your back on her when she's got that bow within arm's reach.
To embarrass a bridge drum. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir. Source Hunter. I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the world of humans. I myself was caged one moment and freed the next by our in-home forest. Every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees.
Attention! About face!
It is difficult for me to claim humanity as you do. I am still learning to see myself in the faces of those I meet. And those I meet do not always see them. It is strange to stand with one foot in the forest and the other in the city, Source Hunter. I am glad that now I have you standing beside me. Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir, no, sir.
Those books.
Ah, the Source Hunter. Oh, still not finished with that sorry matter? Well, have you found any incriminating evidence against her? If so, let's have... Like I said, the girl's known to be a flirt. But that sob of a feral doesn't have the mettle to commit murder. And as far as I'm concerned, neither has she. It was stolen? Gods, what a fool that Roberts is. Taking a bribe in beleaguered old Sicil. Ah, he has a lot to answer for. But not as much as the one that did the bribing in the first place. Guess your mission is pretty clear, isn't it? Off you go to find this munificent body snatcher.
You dare stand here and accuse me of involvement in this sordid affair?
You, again. Do feel free to depart from Sicil at your earliest convenience. Yes, it was stolen. Yes. Evelyn? Master Theliron's apprentice? Nice lass, huh? Brewed me a potion once that cured me of a rash more bothersome than a badger down your breed. You suspect the mayor? Dear me, you couldn't be further from the mark if you lay the blame on a paraplegic cow. The man raised a foundling orc out of the goodness of his heart, you dolt. A murder indeed. if you must.
That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those folks will embarrass a bridge drum. Get the shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir! No, sir!
Attention! About face! To the barracks! The axe! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Out and heat! Good look out there, Hunter. Evil lurks beyond Sicil's ramparts.
Get the shining recruit.
Sorry, sir.
Chicken.
To leave the city is to venture into danger. Be careful, Source Hunter. Beyond these walls, the dead roam free, Hunter. Be vigilant.
City's youth. They hustle and bustle, while I sit here stagnantly and watch it all go by.
Those bony fruits will never make it inside these walls. Excellent. Let's keep it that way.
Dear me. Oh, how the coast reminds me of my long-fled youth. I sailed the seas. I walked the worlds. Dear me. Oh, how the coast reminds me of my long-fled youth. I sailed the seas. I walked the worlds.
I'm
Beyond these walls, the dead roam free, Hunter.
Sodden
Be
all
vigilant.
the way to my boot soles.
It's heating up.
To leave the city is to venture into danger. Be careful,
What
Source
a
Hunter.
deluge! help here!
That ought to hurt.
According to his diary, this bloke couldn't put down his dogs even after he knew them to be infected.
Who could bear to harm his best friends? Especially when they only showed signs but no symptoms of turning.
They are only innocent beasts after all, and appear to pose no threat of harm. for a dry shirt! What a deluge!
Back on my feet again.
In the rain, nobody can see you cry.
Ready to advance, ready to defend. What can I do for you, comrade?
serpent.
The unending darkness.
Oh, I needed that.
Did someone leave an oven door open?
My kingdom for a dry shirt.
Ah, I'm tripping.
Salt to the skin!
Looks like more of the Legionnaires sent to investigate the lighthouse.
Stay sharp, or we'll end up the same.
Another piece of trash!
Sweet relief!
Another piece of trash!
Looking good.
Nothing but rubbish! What a deluge.
I'd prefer to drown my sorrows with ale.
Thank the Seven. Lucia, it's the Source Hunter. We're not going to die on this haunted cliff after all.
Who's dying? We're just resting up. The calm before the storm. Those ghosties at the lighthouse won't know what hit them. There's certainly something fishy happening. The light shines sure as the tides, though there's not been an attendant there for nearly 2 decades.
Our platoon made a pact with Selenia.
What Selenia failed to mention was that it wasn't just the ghosts at the lighthouse we had to worry about. It was every savage skeleton on the way there and back too. When we started, we were 7. Now, Lucia and I are the last alive.
Survival of the fittest, I say. We're just here marshalling our strength before...
Ha! Marshalling our strength, indeed. To be honest, we've been shaking like chihuahuas, praying for a way out of this...
Malleus, your dignity's in a puddle at your feet. So, what do you say, Source Hunter? Will you check out the light...
You'll go to the lighthouse and straighten matters out, yes? You hear that? That moaning? I'm not going any closer.
Come now. We've got to show these spooks the meaning of Legion grit.
I'm up to my short hairs in grit. I don't need to wrangle a devil to prove that.
If you haven't got what it takes, I'll do it myself.
The further we go, the more bodies we find heaped around.
We must be closing in on where they were headed.
mend. A stitch in time, eh, my friends? As good as a new...
Ambushed by a scoundrel.
Sigurd's beard, what a find!
Sigurd's beard, what a find!
On the mend!
You had better save your petty compliments and learn from my example. That would serve us both.
Gladly, I'll learn.